PlayStation Core now fulfills instruction cache fetch timing from real hardware, making the core even more accurate. If you want to try out these accuracy tests yourself, Robert, the core developer, has them available on GitHub, and you can also check out his Patreon for more detailed posts on how updates are done and what they mean. Also, the turbo mode for the core has been too fast for some games, so new options to control the speed have been added. There will now be an option for low, which is around a 10% increase, medium gives you about a 20% speed increase, and high will be 50% or higher. The original PlayStation speed is always a default though. And there's now a new official release for the core that features all these new accuracy improvements and added features. Update your MiSTer now to obtain them. JimmyStones has been busy with several cores and future planning for other cores. Sound progress for the Sega Gremlin core is going slow. He needs to learn how to use the circuit emulator to generate sound samples. He was also working on a BBC Bridge companion core. This was an 8-bit console designed for teaching the Bridge card game. It had interchangeable cartridges that consisted entirely of interactive tutorials on different aspects of Bridge. It was released in 1985 and cost £200. The core is almost done, but a release was being held up because of a bug. But it looks like the bug was sorted out, and now the dev wants to compare the core to real hardware before release. And regarding some future work, JimmyStones is doing research with TTL games that are not yet in FPGA form. TTL games did not use a CPU, but the design of the game was built around these TTL chips and other electronic components to achieve the desired effect on screen. He could have gone the easy route and picked a game with good schematics, but it looks like he wants to challenge himself and went with a game that has horrible schematics. Let's wish him luck. Hellbent's TTY to RGB Matrix project can now load GIFs from an SD card. This project is a do-it-yourself MiSTer FPGA add-on showing text, pictures, or animated GIFs on an RGB matrix panel powered by an ESP32. Instructions on how to build it are available on the project's GitHub. You can also check out the original project it's based on called TTY to OLED, and also another project that builds upon this one and adds wireless capabilities. Core developer Javier has been working on a Xaind Sleena core. Somehow, I missed many development updates that were made. It was a game that was pending for over a year, but now development has started and we are going to get a MiSTer core out of it. So far, there's been several updates, but no release yet. If you support Javier, the developer on Ko-fi, you will get some cool detailed and technical development updates regarding the core. Here, you can see a snippet of how the verification at the simulation stage was done. Another post talks about tracing the propagation of sprite data in the rendering pipeline. And you can also find out about how Javier fixed the recent sprite drawing bug. Here's a fun video done by Zez Retro. He connected a MiSTer FPGA to a projector located in a theater to see what kind of lag you may experience. He used a time sleuth to get some measurements and also tested Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz controllers at different distances. Check out the video to see how things were set up and to see the final results. Pierko, who's worked on cores such as Cosmo Police Galavan, Game & Watch, and Rodland, purchased a PCB for the arcade game Aero Fighters thanks to his Patreon subscribers. So we should expect to see a core for this game in the future. Also, Pierko was asked about a Bank Panic core, and he is interested in developing it, and it may be the next one he creates. Fans of Bank Panic, cross your fingers. Jotego's team keeps working on the Neo Geo Pocket core. A process called coverage tells you how much of the CPU design is verified, and his team is working to reach the 100% industry standard. Jotego was also asked about helping with the Saturn core. It turns out some users can't get the core running, and Jotego is taking a poll about who can and can't get it running. I myself can get it to work on one of my MiSTer setups, but it does not run on my other setup. If you would like to see the Saturn core receive a little help, then head over to the poll and tell Jotego your experience. We can also expect a new beta core for an arcade game at the end of the month. And there was a breakthrough with the Outrun core thanks to Jayurko, so Jotego will be able to resume development. If you want to know more details and also a lot of other new info, check out Jotego's Patreon. Null Objects is fixing a couple of bugs for the cave shooter Hotdog Storm before the game goes into beta testing. If you want to support the development of this game and be part of the beta test, then subscribe to Null Objects Patreon. Anton Gale is developing a core for Jaleco's arcade game Exerion. This is all thanks to the wealth of information provided by the community. If you check out Anton's Twitter, you can see lots of updates regarding the core. The latest update at the time of this recording showing that the video and main RAM tests are passing when running the diagnostic ROM. Xtreme MiSTer FPGA has shown off its third and last revision of the XM Pro board. It's ready for production and features a remote config, custom active and passive cooling, a high-end mono and stereo amp, JAMA and JVS connections, embedded M.2 SATA slot, and more. They also have shown some renders for some cases, and you can see more pictures for other alternate cases on Twitter. Their Twitter also shows some actual pictures of full builds. I have to say, the setup looks so cool. No pre-order date has been given, but after they confirm the details of a first batch bundle, they will announce it soon after. Follow them on Twitter and visit their website to be up to date on the latest news for this board. A new core for the EG2000 Colour Genie computer has been released. This is a computer introduced in Germany in 1982 based on the Z80 processor. The MiSTer conversion was done by Alan SWX and CAS support was by Fandango. And other miscellaneous MiSTer fixes and updates are, for the PCXT core, the audio mixer is based on the one present in the AO46 core. There's a new BIOS loader based on SD-RAM by Kitsune-san, and there was an A288 fix, also by Kitsune-san. That's it for other updates. Please also try to support Sorge, the maintainer of the MiSTer project, and other MiSTer developers and contributors on support platforms such as Patreon and Ko-fi. Their hard work allows us to enjoy this amazing project. I've had several requests from viewers to talk about Analogue Pocket news, so I decided to dedicate a segment to it. I'll first start off with development updates by Null Object, the creator of the Cave core for MiSTer. He's gotten the Cave game Guange running on the Analogue Pocket, but there are currently no sprites, so there's still a lot of work to be done. There's also a release of the Tecmo core. This core runs Rygar, Gemini Wing, and Silkworm. You can download the core from Null Object's GitHub page, and you can also find install instructions there. A port of SRG320's MiSTer Super NES core was made for the Pocket. Ported by Adam Gastineau, it supports standard ROMs and many special chip games like Super FX, DSP, and others. There's 2-player support via the dock, and you can play 4-player games if you enable the Use Multitap option in the settings. You can get the latest update from GitHub. MiSTer developer Pramod has ported Snow Bros to the Analogue Pocket. It's unclear if it's available to download or not. Track 17 is also going to port a core. Once their dock arrives, work on Truxton will begin. Eric Lewis has ported the MiSTer Genesis core to the Pocket. Some notes given are, the core is far from complete and has many issues. Many games do not work correctly, no save states, and there's even more issues. Check out the GitHub to get more information. And if you want to see a list of available cores and download information for the Analogue Pocket, Joshua Campbell on Twitter has developed a website that gives you just that. The site shows you the core, the author, and release information. If you click on the core name, you get directed to the project's page where the download should be located. So that's it for this episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure you also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer news videos in blog form and to get more retro-related content. And if possible, support them on Patreon too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.